Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm finally back with another episode of Road to Ranked after what seems like forever. I know I've been gone for the past couple of days, so I'm just gonna quickly catch you up on everything that's happened in the last weekend or so, talk about a couple of new things I have planned for the channel, and then we'll jump into this episode, so do bear with me. So basically, this past weekend I went to St. Louis for VGC Regionals, which was really awesome because at that point, I just needed a solid finish to basically get my invite to Worlds, since I won Philadelphia Regionals earlier this year and got 4th at Texas Regionals. So I went in there, it was an awesome experience. Overall, I finished with a record of 7-2 in the Swiss rounds, 7 wins, 2 losses. I lost in rounds 4 and 5. You might have actually seen me play on stream. I was the first stream match. I'm going to analyze that match and all the other stream matches later on this channel in a new series I'm planning, so kind of a sneak preview there. But yeah, I ultimately, just lost 2 games, but my tiebreakers weren't strong enough to propel me into the top 16. So around half the players with the record of 7-2 made it. I tied for the 16th place, but unfortunately I did not win on the second tiebreaker, so basically didn't get to play in the top 16 playoff bracket. But my best friend, best Pokemon friend really since 2011, we've been really good friends. Aaron Trailer ended up winning the entire tournament, which is awesome. I'm planning on featuring him and Zach, the second place runner-up, on this channel in another new series I'm planning on starting soon. So lots of new series I want to start soon, but basically keep your eyes open for those two. In addition, I am going to be retiring this team pretty soon. I think today or tomorrow might be the last couple of episodes I used this team with, but it had a really good run. Ultimately, I finished first at Apex with it, 18th at Regionals with it, and I also won the Premier Challenge in St. Louis the day after with this team, with the overall record of 12-1. So the Premier Challenge was basically a smaller level event, obviously not as high of prestige of an event as the regionals, but basically winning that and getting 30 more points from regionals. I'm currently ranked 2nd in the country and the world, which is great, but it also means that I basically have my invitation to the World Championships sealed up. Just need a couple of small finishes here and there, but yeah, basically it means I should be competing in Boston for the World Championships this summer, which is awesome. I've qualified for Worlds basically every year since 2011, so it's really nice to be back there. But let's finally jump into this episode. I really do miss you guys. As you see here, my rating is actually 1880. I played a bunch of games after I got home just because I was a bit salty about not making it to the top cut and wanted to just play a bit more. So we're actually only 20 points away from reaching 1900 again, which is pretty awesome. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, hope you guys have been well. Let me know how you've been. I will reflect on regionals. I'll probably write do a short tournament video on that pretty soon. I know one question I'm probably going to get a lot of is, why did you end up bringing this team to regionals? And ultimately, I felt like even though a lot of my opponents might have known what my team had, I felt like it was a strong enough of a team that it could still power through most of my games, and really that was the case. The 2 games I lost in Swiss were ultimately poor playing on my part. I feel like I didn't make as good judgments as I really should have in those situations, and I also got pretty unlucky in them, but honestly, like, luck is just part of the game. I still could have played better in both of the games I lost, but I definitely don't regret using this team at regionals. I thought it was a pretty good call, and ultimately, yeah, I have no regrets. So obviously wish I could have went a bit further, but it is what it is. As our first opponent of the day is actually going to be Paul for what seems like the billionth time, but I think it's actually the 3rd time. But Paul's actually changed his team up completely, so this should be interesting. For those of you who haven't maybe watched previous episodes, this is Paul Chua, who is one of the top players in the country. He's played over 1,000 games on BattleSpot, which is absolutely absurd. Won U.S. Nationals in 2013. I'm sure those who have watched, all the Road to Rank videos might be getting a bit tired of it again, but yeah. I think Paul went to Virginia Regionals, ultimately finishing 6-3. He was the highest 6-3 there, so if he had won one more round, he would have made it into the top 16 there. But still a really good opponent, and I'm looking forward to this match because, he's used that Trick Room Hail team for about forever, but now we see a rain team of Politoed, Ludicolo, Mawile, Terrakion, Thundurus, and Volcarona. So it really reminds me of a couple of 2012 and 2013 teams we saw back in the day. But yeah, this should be interesting. So in general, Venusaur here is very good against Paul's entire team. He doesn't have a great way to check it, so that's definitely going to be the key to this game, conserving that Venusaur properly. The lead matchup here is pretty tricky, though. I think Gengar Venusaur or Gengar Terrakion is the way to go. Or Suicune, actually. Suicune beats Volcarona, Terrakion, and Mawile. Though it should be important to note that Volcarona is actually a Pokemon that now often carries Giga Drain. Back in 2012 and 2013, we saw Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, Heat Wave, and Protect, but now we see Giga Drain as a way to hit water types and Terrakion effectively, which actually, makes a bit of sense. So, let's see what I want to lead with. It's always a tough call figuring out what you want to lead with, because Bishop here would be really good against Polyludi, Mawile, and Thundurus, but does not like going against Volcarona and Terrakion at all. So I'm actually tempted to go with Gengar and Suicune, Venusaur in the back in case he chooses to lead with Rain. I don't know, I want Bisharp here, but Terrakion I think might be a better call. Actually I should re-choose. I'm gonna go Gengar, Bisharp, Venusaur, and Terrakion. Okay, so ultimately I left Suicune out in this game, which I'm not sure was the right call. I don't really think it was, but the main thing is, I don't know, Suicune can't really get as much offense as the rest of the members I ended up choosing. So he is going to go with Polly and Ludi, which is good, because I didn't want to, leading Suicune here would not exactly be ideal, as I go with Gengar and Bisharp. And while Gengar and Bisharp are two of the frailer Pokemon in the format, there's immediate offense pressure here, because Gengar, first of all, can't get faked out, by Ludicolo. So now I'm curious, because if Polly is Scarfed, I might be in some trouble. But what I can do this first turn is go straight for the Sludge Bomb onto Ludicolo to put it in Sucker Punch KO range, and just protect her with Bisharp. Though, Paul, being the player he is, might be smart enough to predict the Protect from my Bisharp and double up into Gengar. And, I played Paul a lot, so I feel like I know his playstyle relatively well. So right now I'm tempted to go for the knockoff onto Politoed. Yeah. I'm gonna go for it. I think the Protect play with Bisharp is quite obvious. As Ludicolo goes straight for the Scald into Gengar. Okay, does Poly target Gengar as well? Goes for the Scald. Looks like it's gonna be into Gengar. Oh, into Bisharp. Okay. So it is Scarf Poly, but he opted not to target the Gengar there. So this actually works in my favor, because I get the knockoff, which removes the Choice Scarf from Politoed. Wow, nearly KOs it there, actually. Bisharp hangs around with 7 HP, and now I can just Sucker Punch Ludi and Sludge Bomb Poly. Though, I'm also tempted. I'm gonna Icy Wind here. I know I can risk the chance of missing, but there's a good chance Paul might want to switch into one of the Pokemon he's got in the back here. So I'm gonna Sucker Punch and Icy Wind, and he's definitely in a pretty bad position here. He's not gonna switch out with either, though. So Sucker Punch here is just gonna pick up the knockout onto Ludi immediately. And as long as Icy Wind connects here, I'm good. Unfortunately, I am gonna lose Bisharp as a result, but that's fine. It really did its job here. Icy Wind does connect with Poly. And OBS has been giving me some issues the past couple of days. I tried recording yesterday. It's working a bit better now, but you might notice a couple frames lag here and there. So if you do see that, I really have to apologize for it. OBS has been really annoying. So I'm going to try to fix that, so just bear with me, but I don't think it'll be too bad. So anyway, that was a really fast 2 turns, basically. I got rid of his Rain leads. So I've got Venusaur and Terrakion in the back. Paul has a combination of Mawile, Volcarona, Thundurus, and Terrakion. So I think it's smarter to bring Venusaur here, just because if I bring Terrakion, he probably has Mawile here, and Mawile, of course, can intimidate the Terrakion coming in here. And, of course, he does have that Mawile, so good move for me there to not bring in Terrakion immediately, as he's going to have Thundurus and Mawile. Which is not terrible, but this is still far from over, despite how quickly the game really started. So now we get into an interesting position, because I could Will-O-Wisp Mawile, but the thing is, the Thundurus is probably going to want to taunt me right now. But Paul might also be smart and taunt the Venusaur. So I could just Sludge Bomb the Thundurus, Mega Evolve, and Leech Seed the Mawile, and that's what I'm going to go for. The worst case here is Paul going for the taunt onto Venusaur and Sucker Punching Gengar, which is why I think I should have actually went for the Sludge Bomb onto Thundurus with my Venusaur as well to put it in Rock Slide KO range. But we're going to see what Paul goes for here. Tricky position for sure. Okay, Mawile protects, perfect. So I basically am guaranteed a Sludge Bomb. Question is what Thundurus went for. Okay, it went for the T-Wave onto Venusaur. That makes sense. Never fun to deal with, obviously, but that I do get free damage off against this Thundurus, which is great. Actually proccing its Citrus Berry. So it's going to eat the Citrus Berry up, heal back up to around 75%. As Leech Seed obviously goes into Mawile there. But, hey, that's fine. Now let's see. I think I should just go Will-O-Wisp Mawile here, because... I don't know, that Thundurus should be in Rock Slide KO range. He could taunt my Venusaur, which I don't want. No, I'm gonna Will-O-Wisp Mawile and Leech Seed it, because even if Thundurus taunts one of the two Pokemon, I'm basically guaranteed the burn or the Leech Seed off. But he's gonna go for the taunt onto Gengar. Great play by Paul there. Going for the Iron Head onto Venusaur. Really hoping I can attack through this Iron Head. I do get the Leech Seed off. That is really, really good for me. I really needed that. So of course that Mawile is now Leech Seeded, meaning I'm gonna be stealing its HP every turn. In addition, not much more to say. Yeah, I just really needed that. So very happy I got that one off. But let's see. So Paul knows that my Gengar is taunted now, so he can safely Sucker Punch into it. But I don't know, if he Sucker Punches it, then he kind of just loses. Well, no, he doesn't lose, but I think he really needs to go for the Iron Head onto Venusaur here. So I'm going to Sludge Bomb Thundurus, and I'll Protect Venusaur. I'm going to go for the safe play. Venusaur gets the Protect off. Yeah, I just want to heal more HP this turn. Okay, perfect. So he did not Sucker Punch me, as I get the Poison onto Thundurus as well. Sludge Bomb's poison rate is just absurd. He goes for the T-Bolt onto Gengar and probably the Iron Head onto the Venusaur. So Gengar's gonna faint here, but that turn was pretty perfect. He went for the Play Rough there, so he probably doubled up into Gengar, actually predicting a switch out. As Venusaur, once again, I can't tell you how big getting that Leech Seed off with Venusaur was. So I'm gonna heal back from that. Of course, Thundurus is a bit poisoned as well. So yeah, I get a free switch into Terrakion here, which is obviously great. I think I actually want to close combat Mawile here. Yeah, I'm gonna close combat and Giga Drain Mawile. The reason why I'm not Rock Sliding here is because Thundurus is gonna faint from poison anyway, and I don't have a way to beat Mawile with my Venusaur. So let's see. T-Bolt into the Venusaur. Oh, did he double up into Venusaur here? Maybe. That would be a very good play on his end. Oh, nope, okay. Going for the Iron Head onto Terrakion, that's fine. So if I get this Giga Drain off, I basically win. Okay, good. So, yeah, that, I think I missed out on the KO just by a bit, but then the Leech Seed and then the Poison from the Thundurus is going to knock it out. Didn't need the Poison onto Thundurus, but it did make it a bit easier in playing, because if I didn't get that Poison, he could have Thunder Wave, you know, parried me for a couple of turns, even though Thundurus can't really touch Venusaur, even with Hidden Power. So, Poison's going to knock out Thundurus there. Mawile's going to faint from the Leech Seed, and that's going to end up being a win for me. So, really close battle, a really quick one as well, but yeah, hard-fought game. So in general, I'm actually glad I did not bring the Suicune. I think the reason why Paul didn't bring Volcarona or Terrakion on his end was because he knew I had the Suicune on my end. So it was a good call by him, and I'm glad I didn't bring it. Ultimately, yeah, I think I made the right calls. First turn was pretty interesting because Paul decided to target Bisharp even though he knew I might have known he was Scarf, but the knockoff play ended up working out perfectly, and it was just a really aggressive opening to the game. So that actually puts us at 1899, so one more win here would put us obviously over 1900 again, which is great. But yeah, like I said, I am going to be moving on to new teams soon. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about it, and I figured, you know, you know, give this team really one last shot of glory. So actually, it'd be a nice way to end it with a rating of over 1900 with it. But yeah, keep your eyes open because I'm going to be doing a team analysis on this very soon. I'm also going to be writing a report on Nugget Bridge to coincide with that, so you can have the text version with all the full spreads, EVs, and whatnot, as well as, you know, a video version of it. So yeah, keep your eyes open for that, but definitely one of my favorite teams so far I've used in the VGC 15 season. I do think Mega Venusaur is really good, but you should watch out for it because Mega Metagross has picked up a lot of popularity specifically to beat Mega Venusaur. But Matt from Ontario is going to be our second opponent of the day with a rating of over 1700. Matt here has got a team of Suicune, Conkeldurr, Zapdos, Scizor, Gardevoir, and Manectric. So pretty interesting team here. Double Electric is definitely interesting. Gardevoir is the fairy choice as well since we see Sylveon more often, though Sylveon has been dying out in real life events. But yeah, I think Gengar here is just kind of my go-to lead like always, just because it can hit the Suicune for super effective. Not Suicune, Gardevoir, excuse me. It can taunt Suicune, can Will-O-Wisp things. The Conkeldurr here is definitely a scary sight because like you've seen in previous videos, Conkeldurr actually gives my team quite a lot of trouble, so I'm going to have to watch out for that. Let's see, Gengar, and I actually really like Gengar Venusaur as a lead. Just because the one thing that threatens Venusaur is the Gardevoir, but I can just Sludge Bomb it with my Gengar. Who do I want in the back? I feel like Heatran's pretty good here. I don't know, I normally bring Suicune because it can deal with the Conkeldurs pretty well, but the double electric from my opponent is definitely quite scary. Bisharp here is a pretty good call against everything else my opponent has to offer. For the last one, it's really between Terrakion and Heatran. But I am leaning towards Heatran. Actually, I don't know. Tough call here. I'm gonna go for Heatran, yeah. Mainly because it's got leftovers, it can substitute up, it can render the Scizor and Gardevoir completely useless. So I'm gonna lock in there, we'll see how this goes out. But yeah, win here would put us over 1900 again, which would be awesome. And yeah, not much more to say. I think I basically caught you guys up on everything in the first couple of minutes of the video, so thank you for bearing with me there. But basically, yeah, first of all, agenda is obviously Road to Ranked videos, daily once again. Still trying to figure out why OBS is lagging slightly, just because I didn't change any stream configurations from last time, since I do record with OBS, but after I came back for the weekend it started lagging a bit, which has been a bit annoying, just because I don't like having any bad content really, and lag kind of is annoying. I don't think it affects it that much. I'm gonna watch over the VOD after this to make sure, but yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. But in addition, I plan on doing things with the regional finalists as well, from all the regionals hopefully. But we're gonna see Gengar and Venusaur on my end against the Gardevoir and Suicune from my opponent's end, as Gardevoir here traces, excuse me, wow, I can't speak today, the Levitate. I think the best play for my opponent here is to Tailwind with Suicune and attack into Venusaur with a Psychic type attack. So in anticipation of that, I'm actually going to just taunt Suicune and switch into Bisharp, because Bisharp threatens Gardevoir a bit more. Ideally, I can pick up the one-hit KO onto Gardevoir, though I'm afraid that it's going to be Mega Gardevoir and it's going to go for something like a Hyper Voice immediately. But it's not going to Mega Evolve, and I do get the taunt off, which is good. And seeing Manectric on my team, you'd have to assume that's the Mega. Nice play by my opponent there, though, going for the Psychic onto Gengar instead of the Venusaur. Let's see if Suicune went for an attack here. So I have the Sash here, obviously. So it goes for the Scald. Nice play by my opponent, doubling up into Gengar there to pick up the KO. Very nicely done. Predicting the potential taunt or protect plays. So I'm going to bring in Venusaur here once again. Gardevoir should not be able to KO, so what I can do here is just Iron Head Gardevoir and go for the Giga Drain onto Suicune, especially since it's haunted. The issue I'm running into now, though, is if my opponent has Conkeldurr in the back, he can switch in Conkeldurr to threaten Bisharp. So that was a very good first turn for my opponent there. I knew the double target into Gengar was a possible play, but I decided to play it a bit safer, but neither of my opponent's Pokemon are going to switch out here, which is a curious play. So I'm going to Mega Evolve here with Venusaur. We'll see what Bisharp and Venusaur get to do here. Gardevoir, okay, goes for the Will-O-Wisp, actually outspeeding Bisharp, which, obviously I should have anticipated. Good move there, but you know what, that's fine. I get the Iron Head off, and it's going to be in Sucker Punch KO range most likely here. As, yeah, just misses out on the knockout there, unfortunately. As, I get the Iron Head and the Giga Drain off against Suicune, which is obviously good, especially against Suicune since it's such a bulky Pokemon, proccing its Citrus Berry there, but still not a great start to the battle for me here. Suicune, excuse me, goes for the Scald onto Bisharp, so most likely this time predicting the Protect once again from Venusaur. So yeah, my opponent's definitely got the advantage right now, right, because this is actually really bad if my opponent has the Conkeldurr in the back. It's going to rely on Heatran having to rely on, basically get substitutes off. But let's see. So Gardevoir is obviously in Sucker Punch KO range. But my opponent might be smart enough to just not attack with Gardevoir, so I think I'm actually going to predict that and double up into Suicune here. Anticipating Gardevoir to either switch out or protect. Or Will-O-Wisp Venusaur. All of those viable plays. Alternatively, what I could have done was Sucker Punch and Giga Drain the Gardevoir, because, if it attacks, then I knock it out with the Sucker Punch. If it doesn't attack, then Venusaur knocks it out with Giga Drain. But Suicune's kind of the bigger threat right now, because I know I have Heatran in the back as my last one, so I think one of the weaknesses of this team is if you play poorly with Gengar in the first turn. Not even play poorly, but if your opponent just knocks it out immediately without Gengar doing very much. So for example, Sludge Bomb onto Gardevoir might have just been a better play there, just to put it in Sucker Punch KO range from Bisharp, because I was anticipating the Tailwind and Psychic type attack. But Gardevoir is going to protect here, so I do call that correctly, which is great because I should be able to knock out this Suicune with the double target. So I get the knockoff off. Actually, I'm not sure if I can knock it out here, which is kind of problematic. Let's see. Giga Drain. Oh, just misses out. So despite me predicting it correctly, not going to be able to knock it out, which kind of sucks. But he actually went for the Scald onto Venusaur, probably fishing for the burn, and gets it. That really sucks. Not what I wanted to see at this point in the battle. Yeah, if I wanted any chance of winning in this game, that was not the way. Let's see. Just because a burn Venusaur is just not good. Obviously. I think what I'm going to do here is go for the Sucker Punch on the Gardevoir and go for a... I'll go for the Sludge Bomb onto Suicune in case it wants to switch out into Zapdos. And I'll Sucker Punch the Guardy here. If my opponent's smart, he's going to switch out Gardevoir or Protect once again, or even go for a Will-O-Wisp. But at this point, I really need to just try to pick up KO, so I'm kind of hoping that, you know, my opponent might misplay a bit, whatnot. Yeah, definitely an unfortunate Scald burn there on Venusaur. It does make a good play there, switching out Gardevoir, so nicely done on my opponent to let it fade. And unfortunately, my opponent does have Conkeldurr in the back, which spells trouble for me here. So Sucker Punch here is going to fail. Sludge Bomb's going to pick up the KO onto Suicune, but now my opponent can just bring back Gardevoir and Psychic my Venusaur. So yeah, we are in a predicament right now. Let's see. This Bisharp's going to faint from the poison. And yeah, that burn just really hurts me because Venusaur's a Pokemon that kind of relies on Leech Seed and Giga Drains, and you know, an unburned Venusaur can really clutch out wins, but a burned one just can't do very much because you're not getting recovery. Basically, even if you do get a Leech Seed or Giga Drain off, you're not gaining any HP because you're burned every turn. But I feel like my opponent got the better end of me, especially on that first turn. It has been outplaying me consistently, so you know, well done by my opponent, especially that switch out into Gardevoir, which I should have anticipated. So I think my opponent's play here is to just Psychic Venusaur and attack with Conkeldurr onto Heatran. And I don't have many good answers to that, unfortunately. I really don't. I could protect in Heat Wave, but then it's Venusaur against Conkeldurr and something else. I don't know. I think my opponent's got the better end of me here. Mainly because I just don't have great ways to deal with this Conkeldurr, which is one of the weaknesses I've mentioned multiple times in Road to Ranked. So I'm trying to think of the best way to win here. Maybe my opponent might anticipate my Venusaur protecting. So I guess I'll Leech Seed the Conkeldurr and I'll just Leech Seed in Heat Wave. Yeah, I really can't win this one. Okay, Gardevoir does go for a Protect. So I get a Heat Wave off, but I don't know, Drain Punch is probably going to knock me out. I guess I could have subbed or protected there, but wasn't doing much for me in the first place anyway. But we'll see how this plays out. Oh, he went for the knockoff onto Venusaur. Okay. Hey, I'm not going to complain about that. Somehow that gives me a window of opportunity to still win this game. And like I said, this is one of the cases where like this burn is just really annoying to deal with. Gardevoir's call here is to just Psychic my Venusaur. I'm not sure how fast that Gardevoir is, but I don't think Heatran can outspeed it. What if I can though? That would be great. We've seen Protect, Psychic, Will-O-Wisp from Gardevoir. I mean, I could just Protect here. Trying to think. Okay, I'm gonna actually Protect, and I'm gonna double here. As Gardevoir switches out, okay. Wow, I almost Sludge Bombed and Heat Wave there into Manectric. Okay, so somehow I can still win this game. So the reason why I doubled there was because I figured that way I could heal some more HP onto that Conkeldurr to put it into, you know, like a Sludge Bomb Heat Wave KO range. But hey, I'm actually not gonna mind this because Manectric doesn't really threaten my team very much right now. So that Conkeldurr is just losing HP. Now the main thing is if it gets a Drain Punch off, it heals back a lot more, right? So I need to watch out right now. But I think what I'm gonna do here is Giga Drain Conkeldurr and go for the Heat Wave. The main issue is my opponent actually can't really touch my Heatran with Gardevoir. Manectric is a Pokemon that tends to have moves like Thunderbolt, Overheat, HPS, and Protect, or Mega Manectric as it is for my opponent here. So that, you know, can't really touch Heatran too much either. Thunderbolt. Okay, yeah, he goes for the T-Bolt onto Heatran. Let's see how much this does. Oh, he crit. That stinks. That's really unfortunate. And the reason why I say it's unfortunate is because if he didn't crit that, T-Bolt would not have been able to knock me out the following turn. But now I'm in just Psychic Heat Wave KO range. Oh man, that is so untimely. Because I've got leftovers on Heatran too, so what I could do is protect twice with Heat. I mean, I'm still gonna double here, because my win condition is basically surviving another Thunderbolt and getting a Heat Wave off, because Heat Wave wins me the game. But that's definitely unfortunate. I think I would have had the game sealed up, barring me hitting my Heat Wave if the T-Bolt didn't crit there. But that's Pokemon for you. As Gardevoir traces Flash Fire as well, so just adding insult to injury here. I don't think I can really take a Psychic from that. So, yeah, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna Sludge Bomb Manectric in the off chance I can survive. Actually, I mean, no. I should... Yeah. Not much I can do here, honestly. I'm not gonna be able to survive a Psychic. But if I do Protect, then my opponent could just double up into Heatran with a Psychic T-Bolt, which is not what I need right now. Actually, I'll just double here. Bait out any potential protects from my opponent's end as well. Oh man, that crit. So yeah, I mean, I also messed up a bit because I figured the Gardevoir might have wanted to switch out there, so I could have taken advantage of it, doubling into Conkeldurr that turn, to which if I did that, it almost would have been guaranteed a win, as my opponent does just go for the attacks there. T-Bolt into Tran and Psychic into Venusaur. I could probably take another T-Bolt at this point, but the main issue is Gardevoir trades Flash Fire. So I'm going to protect with Venusaur here, because if I can get the double off, I can still win this game. That's the main thing. Now the question is, if my opponent protects with Manectric, expecting the Heat Wave, I don't know. If I predict a protect here, I can still win, but the right play for my opponent, I think, is just to attack with both. So yeah, I'll just try to go for the double with Venusaur and Earth Power, because if I get it and survive T-Bolt, I win. But I fail the protect here. T-Bolt going to Heatran, can I survive? Nah, so I wasn't even able to survive that after the crit, which is, you know, is what it is. As Gardevoir is going to get the Psychic off here, picking up the KO onto Venusaur. So I'm going to lose this game 2-0, which is unfortunate, but my opponent definitely outplayed me for the better end of it, and I should have made more aggressive plays at the end when I realized that the Conkeldurr came in. So well done to my opponent with a pretty cool team. It's not every day you get to see Mega Manectric and Gardevoir really running around, especially Sylveon being the more popular fairy type. So yeah, it's going to be a win and a loss for today's episode. Another rematch against Paul, and a pretty interesting team here. So yeah, you know, welcome back, guys. I do plan on posting videos on a daily basis, once again, like I mentioned. I might actually post 2 Road to Ranked episodes for the next couple of days, just because I want to catch up, because I feel bad that I wasn't able to post more content in the last couple of days. But keep your eyes open for the series I announced earlier. Keep your eyes open for the team analysis, all that good stuff. And yeah, basically the most exciting thing about this weekend was, even though I didn't win, I basically sealed up my qualification for Worlds, so you should see me competing there this summer. Now the rest of the goal is to finish in the top 8 in the US going into Worlds, because if you do, you get a day 1 bye, meaning you don't have to play in the first day of Worlds. So that's what I'm going for right now, because I'm ranked 2nd currently in the country, and I'm only 8 points away from 1st, which is awesome. But yeah, so for this episode, guys, it's really great being back. Great to see you guys again. You know, comment below how you've been in the last few days, because I've really missed you all. And yeah, that's it for this episode, and I'll see you next time. Alright, peace.